Yeah, my name is Will Tell. Go way back, producing, doing videos, photography, pretty much do it all. I basically started out in Brooklyn, and my mom, she worked at high school redirection. It was a high school in Brooklyn, New York. And she used to take me to school with her and go out to Brownsville and watch these breakdance shows. And ever since then, I just became hooked on hip hop. Started breaking myself, started, getting every record, started spinning them, dissecting them, and that's basically how it started for Will Tell. Man, it's like once you get that hip hop bug, you never go back. It becomes, like people ask me, yo, you do that hip hop stuff? And I tell them, I don't do that hip hop stuff. I am that hip hop stuff. So you don't do it, you live it. And once you get that bug, it just never ends, My first piece of production equipment, my man DJ Brooklyn took me to Sam Ash, and I remember I scraped up a little bit of bread, and he was telling me I could either get the MPC 60 or I could get 3 different units. I could get an Akai 950, a Roland MC50 sequencer, and I got a little mixing board, and I got some bullshit ass speakers. And I ended up going with the 3 pieces because at that point I remember thinking, if that one machine, the MPC 60 breaks, I'm fucked and can't make no beats. So I figured I'd go with the 3 things, and if one of them breaks, then I'll be able to replace that for cheaper. So that's the way I went. That was my first system I ever got. They really didn't have a choice, to be honest. I'm sure they wanted me to go the school route and all that, but I chose the School of Hard Knocks instead, and instead of going to college and all that, I just did hip hop for a living. I mean, straight out of high school, I was doing hip hop and making a living from it. So there's a point you get to when you do hip hop that you can't turn back. And after that point, probably 93, 94, there was no turning back. You already got a couple joints on Billboard and some sort of success that you could credit yourself with saying I've accomplished something and I'm not turning back. And that's probably around the time where I hit that point. One of the biggest challenges, I guess, is piracy. Going from selling records, working with major labels, to the internet taking over everything, essentially. I mean, there is essentially no more album sales. You put out your album and the next day it's on YouTube. So, that took a bit of adjustment. So now you have to follow up and find your lane in hip hop these days. So you have to get licensing deals and do commercials and movie scores and stuff like that. And I still do the hip hop on the side, but most of those commercial gigs are really the cash cow these days. I basically just want to be known as that real hip hop producer that never compromised himself, for what the fad was at the time, or, from the first days of Word of Mouth, Brooklyn Academy, all that stuff, I still make those hard banging Will Tell beats, and I've never strayed from that. Did 2 joints on the new R.A. the Rugged Man album. Did about 3 new albums, produced every joint with Sadat X right now, being the reason that we're here up at Sirius today to promote Planet of the Grapes, which is the first hip-hop wine album ever. So, we did a lot of work with that. It was probably about 6 or 7 months of recording, in which the same time we were doing our YouTube videos for True Wine Connoisseurs, which is our wine show we do. And during those sessions, we made this album. Well, basically, we started off, and when we recorded, we would traditionally drink something heavier, like Hennessy, some cognac, or something down that road. And then one day, I brought a bottle to the studio, and I told Sadat, fuck around and make a commercial with the wine. And I put it on my little flip camera and put it on YouTube, and it blew up. And people were like, oh, shit, Sadat's reviewing wine. And it became this joke that essentially we started every recording session, we would film a little review of a wine. And then Sadat would start making these keywords like send a case to this place or different catchphrases. And next thing you know, people were sending us cases of wine. And then he made up this thing called the Fucked Up Factor, which is our wine rating system from 1 to 10. So people wanted their Fucked Up Factor rating on their wine. And slowly and surely, the whole thing just snowballed and took off on a different level. Go pick up that album right now on iTunes, Planet of the Grapes, Will Tell, Sadat X, cop it now.